Peace and Pan-Africanism, peace and Pan-Africanism. Peace and Pan-Africanism, peace and Pan-Africanism. This is your big brother, Ifa Tunde. First of all, I want to say rest in peace to Bill Russell. Peace and Pan-Africanism to Bill Russell. Rest in peace, condolences to his friends and family. In my opinion, Bill Russell was the last of the racially conscious basketball players when he took that stand as a player and refused to play in that city where he could not stay in the white hotel or eat at the white restaurant. Now, I understand that he has been snow bunnied 3 out of 4 marriages. I understand that he has been snow bunnied 3 out of 4 marriages. The first wife was black. The subsequent 3 wives were all snow bunnies. Be that as it may, I don't believe in throwing out the baby with the bathwater. Be that as it may, I don't believe in throwing out the baby with the bathwater. I still will commend Bill Russell on a stellar career, an unmatched career, an unequaled career. If the GOAT was judged in terms of championships, he clearly would be the GOAT. He also stood up against racism at a time when it was not safe or convenient to do so. And of course, he was the first black head coach in the NBA. At some point, we're going to have a conversation about these old white snow bunnies. At some point, we're going to have a conversation about the old white snow bunny and how the old white snow bunny always manages a strategy to weave her way into the confidence of isolated, single, lonely, rich black multimillionaire celebrity men. That old white snow bunny is very clever. Now, we know white women, they strategically search out and investigate black men. They always end up with brothers with potential. That's the young snow bunny or the old snow bunny. But the old snow bunny, the young snow bunny will use her ice cookies to get the young Negro. The young snow bunny will use her ice cookies, but the old snow bunny will use her charm. The old snow bunny will use her compassion. The old snow bunny will use her sympathy to weave her way into the lives of these lonely, rich, black, multimillionaire black men so she can get the bag when he dies before she does. So she can get the bag when he dies before she does. So she can get the bag when he dies before she does. But nonetheless, rest in peace to Bill Russell. We hope the ancestors receive him. We hope the Most High God minimize his faults and expand his virtues. Now, there's a lot of monkeypox nonsense going on. There's a lot of monkeypox nonsense going on. What I find ironic about the monkeypox is they're claiming that the monkeypox originated in the Democratic Republic of the Congo. Viva Patrice Lumumba. Viva Patrice Lumumba. Viva Patrice Lumumba. So let me get this straight. According to the white man's narrative, according to the white man's pseudoscientific narrative on disease, AIDS originated in Central Africa. Ebola originated in Central Africa. And now monkeypox originated in Central Africa. According to the white man, AIDS originated in the Congo. Ebola virus originated in the Congo. And now monkeypox originated in the Congo. Is it a coincidence or a conspiracy that all 3 of these killer diseases allegedly originated in the richest piece of land on the face of the earth? Is it a coincidence or a conspiracy that AIDS, Ebola, and monkey virus all originated in the land with the most richest and abundant mineral content on the face of the earth? We already know that the Congo is one of the world's largest producers of diamonds. We already know the Congo is one of the world's largest producers of uranium. We already know that the Congo is one of the world's largest producers of gold. We know that it's one of the largest producers of coltan. Not only is it one of the largest producers of coltan, it is the #1 producer of the richest and most purest form of coltan on the face of the earth. And so the place where the white man gets all his military minerals from. See, the ingredients, the minerals that the power structure needs in order to make its bombs, the minerals that the power structure needs for its military jets and its planes and its atomic weapons. Most of the minerals for the white man's war machine comes out of the Congo. And it just so happens that he's telling everybody that AIDS, Ebola, and monkeypox is coming from the very place where he needs all of his minerals in order to bully the rest of the world into military surrender. Brothers and sisters, if you can't read through this, brothers and sisters, if you can't read through this, brothers and sisters, if you can't understand, overstand, and understand this scam, if you can't understand, overstand, and understand this scam, if you can't recognize this propaganda, Lord have mercy, your political IQ must be on super stupid. Your political IQ must be on super stupid. We are in the Congo raping it raw. We are in the Congo raping it rich. We are in the Congo stealing the last drop of uranium, coltan, diamond, iron ore, and everything else we can get. And to keep black people away from the Congo, we're going to tell them that coming here will lead to your premature death. We're going to scare Negroes away from Central Africa by telling them this is where you get monkeypox, by telling them this is where you get AIDS, by telling them this is where you get Ebola. And we know black people believe anything white people say. We know black people believe anything white people say. We know black people believe anything that white people say. So we're going to terrify Negroes into staying away from the Congo so we don't have no competition for our mineral theft. We're going to scare Negroes into staying away from the Congo so we don't have no competition for our rape of the diamonds. We're going to scare Negroes into staying away from the Congo so we don't have any competition for our rape of the uranium and the coltan. Brothers and sisters, come on now. Brothers and sisters, come on now. Brothers and sisters, come on now. You're listening to the most relevant and requested black scholar in the world. You're listening to the most relevant and requested black scholar in the world. You're listening to the most relevant and requested black scholar in the world, the Prince of Pan-Africanism, Intercontinental Ifa Tunde himself. Hit the Cash App, $FDMG School. 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 Now, I just read an article that Belgium is going to return Prime Minister Patrice Lumumba's tooth after, let's see, 61 to 71, 71 to 81, 81 to 91, 91 to 01, 01 to 11, 11 to 21, 61 years. Patrice Lumumba was murdered in 1961, and it has been 61 years as of today. Patrice Lumumba was murdered in 1961, and it has been 61 years. And the Belgian colony, the government of Belgium is going to return. That is correct, Danielle Combs. Please make a donation. That is correct, Sister Danielle Combs. Please make a donation. $FDMG School. Or hit your PayPal, paypal.me/FDMG Academy. Hit your PayPal, paypal.me/FDMG Academy. So Patrice Lumumba was murdered in 1961. It's been 61 years, and now they want to give his tooth back. Is that some form of reparations? And now they want to give his tooth back. Is that some form of reparations? And now they want to give his tooth back. Is that some form of reparations? I hope my brothers and sisters in the Congo not falling for that. Yes, his family is entitled to have that man's tooth back. Yes, his family is entitled to having that man's tooth back. But that has nothing to do with the reparations package that Belgium owes our Congolese brothers and sisters. That has nothing to do with the reparations package that Belgium owes our Congolese brothers and sisters. See, this is one of the reasons why I am an advocate of a unified reparations front across the globe. This is why I am an advocate of a unified reparations front, a global African unified reparations front. That's what I'm for. I don't like the tribal approach to reparations. The tribal approach is a setup for disaster. The tribal approach is a recipe for failure, because we know that the pale man is a master of divide and conquer, separate and rule. We know that the pale man is a master of divide and conquer, separate and rule. So the pale man would prefer Africa do their own. The pale man would prefer Caribbean do your own. The pale man would prefer South America do your own. The pale man would prefer Black North America do your own. The pale man would prefer Central American Africans do your own reparations, because if you do it that way, he can wiggle his way out of full accountability. He wants a tribalized reparations agenda. He wants a tribalized reparations agenda. And what he's going to do is he's going to negotiate with the community that's putting forth the weakest demand package. He's going to negotiate a reparation. He's looking for who's going to bring him the easiest package to satisfy. I'm going to tell you what the white man going to do. He's going to look who's going to give him the easiest out for their reparations package. He's going to look and see what the Caribbeans want. He's going to look and see what the South American Africans want. He's going to look and see what the Caribbean Africans want. He's going to look and see what the continental Africans want. He's going to look and see what the Australian Africans want. He's going to look and see what the Central American Africans want. He's going to look and see what the American Africans want. He's going to find the weakest package. After he negotiates the weakest package, he's then going to go to all the other groups and say, listen, this group of Africans only wanted this. And since we have already established a precedent by settling the reparations complaint by the weakest group, all of the rest of you are going to have to settle for a percentage of what we gave the weakest group. Because this is the protocol that we have established. This is the standard that we have established. And since this is the standard that we have established, whether you like it or not, we agree with the package that this group of Africans put forward. And because we agree with this group, all the rest of you are going to have to fall in line with this group, or you're not going to get nothing at all. I promise you, read my lips. I promise you, as long as the African reparations movement is tribalized, sectionalized, and fragmented, none of us will get what we are entitled to. How many times do I have to say it? Until African people hate racism more than they hate each other. Until African people hate racism more than they hate each other, nothing will change. Until African people love each other more than they love being accepted by white folks. Until African people love each other more than they love being accepted by white folks, we never going to get nothing. Now, somebody sent me a tweet from the Republic of South Africa. Somebody sent me a tweet from the Republic of South Africa. Somebody sent me a tweet from the Republic of South Africa, where I will be November 18th and 19th of this year. God willing, where I will be November 18th and 19th this year for the men's retreat conference. The white power structure of South Africa is picking up where the white power structure of America has left off. The white power structure The white power structure of South Africa is claiming that teaching the history of apartheid will lead to violence. The white power structure of South Africa is now putting out a narrative that says teaching the history of apartheid will generate violence in South Africa. Teaching about the history of apartheid, which is by no means over, will lead to violence in South Africa. Just like America says, teaching slavery and racism in America's schools will offend white students. Teaching about the enslavement of Africans and slavery in America will offend white students. It will make white children feel uncomfortable to be taught about slavery and racism. This is what the U.S. government is saying. This is what the South African government is saying. This is what the U.S. government is saying. This is what the white South African government are saying. So can somebody ask me this? How did it make black children feel to be told that there was monkeys in a jungle? How did it make black children feel to be told their people have created nothing worthwhile of study? How did it make black people feel to be told that you being brought to America was a blessing because you was a backwards, cannibalistic, half monkey man? How did it make black people feel for all these years of going to American public schools, being taught that a sexual pedophile, Thomas Jefferson, a child pedophile, Thomas Jefferson, R. Kelly got 30 years, Thomas Jefferson didn't get a single day. R. Kelly got 30 years, Thomas Jefferson didn't get a single day. R. Kelly got 30 years, Thomas Jefferson didn't get a single day, and Elvis Presley married a 14-year-old. He didn't get a single day either. Elvis Presley married a 14-year-old. He didn't get a single day at all. Thomas Jefferson used to rape Sally Hemings. He didn't get a single day at all, but Robert Kelly get 30 years. Here's what I'm trying to say. To understand racism, to fully study the history of European racism, pale man discrimination, is to study the history of political contradictions. To know the full history of the European, to fully embrace the history and experience of the cave-dwelling pale man, is to get an education in the policy of contradictions. The white man's entire history is a history of contradictions. How can you enslave people, dehumanize them for a quarter of a century, and then turn around and claim to be the moral police of the world? How can you do that? How can you say we can't teach slavery to white kids because it might make them feel bad? We can't teach racism to white kids. It might make them feel bad, but you have no problem teaching that to Africans. But I got a better question. I got a better question. Let me see what this coon talking about. I might gotta block him. Let me say this. And by the way, during the enslavement of our ancestors in America, in the Caribbean islands, colonization in Africa, those beasts regularly slept with one of our daughters who was before the age of menses. Let me say it again. In fact, I would argue that the greatest sex crime ever committed was committed during the period of the Ma'afa. The greatest sex crimes ever committed in the history of mankind were committed during the Ma'afa. They were committed between the 15th and 19th century, with slave masters and their employees regularly went to bed with a prepubescent black girl or black boy. Nate Parker put a scene of this in Birth of a Nation. Nate Parker put a scene of this in Birth of a Nation. Nate Parker put a scene. Remember when Will the Executioner went and knocked the door down of his slave master's assistant? And when he got out the bed, there was a little girl in the bed right next to him. Nate Parker tried to highlight this in the Nat Turner movie. Nate Parker tried to highlight this in the Nat Turner movie when he showed that little black girl, 7 or 8 years old, in the bed with that white man. Thomas Jefferson did it. Many of your presidents did it. Slave masters did it. Their favorite pastime was the rape and sodomization of prepubescent black boys and girls. Do a history on that, Smithsonian. Do a history on that, Smithsonian. Do a documentary on that, Netflix. Do a documentary of that, Prime. Do a documentary of all the signers of the Declaration of Independence, or the signers of the Constitution. That's right. All the governors of the 13 colonies and the governors of the United States and all the slave masters and overseers and white men in America who slept regularly with prepubescent black boys and black girls. Where is the Smithsonian exhibit on the sodomization of black America by white America? Where is the Smithsonian exhibition on the pedophile crisis that took place during the Ma'afa? Nobody's talking about that. Nobody's talking about why these rich white people want to adopt Haitian babies. Why are you going to Haiti to adopt a Haitian baby for? Why are you going to Haiti to adopt a Haitian baby? Why are you going to Ethiopia to adopt the Ethiopian child? You got black kids all over America. Black children are disproportionately unadopted. So if rich whites want a black child, why can't you be the adoptive parent of a black child right here in America? Why you got to go to Ethiopia to get a child? Why you got to go to Haiti to get a child? You know why you got to go to Ethiopia for a child? You know why you got to go to Haiti for a child? Because you want a child who don't know their rights. You want a child who's going to be too scared to run away. You want a child who will think slavery is actually freedom. You want a child who will keep quiet because the material abundance that you are exposing them to is better than anything they ever had in their previous homeland. So you know they're not going to speak up. You know they're not going to run away. That's right. You're not adopting these children because you care about them. You ain't never done nothing for Africa. You ain't never done nothing for Haiti. You adopting these children so they can be raped and sodomized and child trafficked. Oh, yes. Will somebody tell the truth and shame the devil? Will somebody tell the truth and shame the devil? Will somebody tell the truth and shame the devil? And the reason they want to stop teaching slavery and racism, the reason in South Africa they want to stop teaching apartheid is so we never get to a conversation on reparations. So we never get to a conversation on reparations. So we never get to a conversation on reparations. And guess what? The black bourgeoisie in South Africa is fully behind it. The black bourgeoisie of North America is fully behind it. It's the same black bourgeoisie that controls the public opinion of black folks. They put these Negroes on the radio to massage your common sense. They put these Negroes in the newspaper to massage your common sense. They put these Negroes on YouTube to massage your common sense. They put these Negroes on television to massage your common sense. And so the white man tells the black bourgeoisie what they want black people to think. And then the black bourgeoisie goes to work on your favorite sitcom, goes to work on your favorite podcast, goes to work on your favorite television show, goes to work on your favorite radio show. The job of the black bourgeoisie is to massage the public opinion of Negroes. And now that they don't want slavery taught in school, and now that they don't want racism taught in school in black America or black South Africa, and black America or black South Africa, is so we can kill the conversation about reparations. The reason they got to get slavery out the schools is so we can kill the conversation on reparations. See, once they eliminate the conversation about the one thing that makes African people totally different from every other non-white person. Once they eliminate the conversation about the one thing that makes African people totally different from everyone else in this country. Once they eliminate the one thing, slavery is the one factor. The enslavement and dehumanization of African people is the one factor that separates us from the Chinese. It separates us from the Arabs. It separates us from the Native Americans. It separates us from the East Indians. It separates us from the European Jews. It separates us from everybody. It separates us from everybody. See, you got to kill that conversation if you want Negroes to be dissolved in a sea of minorities. You got to kill the combination on race and slavery if you want Negroes to be dissolved in a sea of minorities. You got to kill the conversation about slavery if you want to make Negroes an extinct conversation in the political discourse about justice for non-white Americans. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Stop talking about slavery. Well, can I ask a question? All due respect. May I ask a question? All due respect. May I ask a question? All due respect. If you can't teach the enslavement of Africans, the worst crime in human history, the worst forced transmigration in human history, the greatest dehumanization campaign in recorded history. If you can't teach children about the enslavement of my ancestors, if you can't teach racism, I better not see Schindler's List. If you can't teach racism, I better not see the Diary of Anne Frank. If we can't teach the enslavement of Africans, I better not catch Helen Keller's autobiography in our children's book bag. I better not catch Helen Keller's book in English class. I better not catch Schindler's List in social studies class. That's right. That's right. That's right. I told you to study the history of the European is an education in political contradictions. To study the history of the European is a political education in the history of contradictions. To study the policy, politics, and political behavior of the European is a education in political contradiction. Now, let me say this, because I've been hearing some black bourgeoisies and some YouTubian illiterates say. I've been hearing some black bourgeoisies and some YouTubian political illiterates say, because most YouTubians y'all watch are politically illiterate. I don't know if you know that. 99% of everybody making videos on YouTube about black content are politically illiterate. Politically illiterate. They have no knowledge of political science, and they have no firm understanding of history. Political illiterates, from the pretendians to the I ain't from Africans to the I love Americans. A whole bunch of YouTubian political illiterates. But here's what I want to say. Here's what I want to say. Here's what I want to say. I'm hearing Negroes say black people have no right to reparations, because although the European Jews are getting reparations, those reparations were for Holocaust survivors. You say that since there are no Africans living who directly experienced the ma'afa of slavery, you claim that since there are no Africans living in this country who directly experienced the horrors of the ma'afa, we have no just claim to the restitution those ancestors are entitled to. If that is your argument, and I totally disagree with it. If that is your argument, and I totally disagree with it. If that is your argument, and I totally disagree with it. Thank you, Brother David, for calling me the #1 black intellectual on the planet. I do agree with you. But America religiously and faithfully gives a welfare check to the nation of Israel every year. And it is the highest annual foreign investment in any country in the world. I'm going to say this again. I want you to understand, overstand, understand, go do your research. I want you to understand, overstand, understand, go do your research. America's foreign aid to Israel is the highest expenditure for any nation. It is the highest welfare check that she gives to any nation on the face of the earth. How can you say 21st century Africans in America are not entitled to reparations because we were not enslaved directly? But the Israelis receiving foreign aid from America and receiving a reparations check from America, almost nobody in Israel experienced the horrors. Furthermore, America helped create the nation of Israel. America helped create the nation of Israel. Every European Jew in the world benefits from their being in Israel. Everybody benefits. Every European Jew on earth benefits from their being in Israel. So if every European Jew on earth can benefit from Israel forever, perpetual benefit. See, when I talk to y'all about reparations, Israel is a great example of a perpetual benefit. The nation of Israel is the perfect example of a perpetual benefit. They will always have Israel. So I need you YouTubian, politically illiterate podcasters. I need you YouTubian, politically illiterate podcasters to stop saying dumb shit like we can't get reparations. And as African people, we get reparations for African people, not as slavery survivors. That's right. What you do to a people, you do to every member of their race. What you do to a family, you do to every member of their race. The psychological trauma was passed down to me. The political dysfunction was passed down to me. The economic devastation was passed down to me. The pseudo-scientific badge of inferiority was passed down to me. Every single thing my enslaved ancestors went through, I go through today, right now. It may look a little different. It may be presented a little different. It may manifest itself a little differently. But guess what? For those who have a third eye open, you can see the slave chains just as clear. You can see the chains around our brain. You can see the chains around our community. You can see the chains around our opportunity. You can see the chains around our public schools. You can see the chains around the institutions and our community. Whatever they did back then, they do it right now. So don't tell me you don't get reparations unless you was enslaved. Brothers and sisters, hit your Cash App and help us raise money for the festival. I want to see everybody on Saturday, September the 10th, Ifa Tunde Avenue. I want to see everybody on Saturday, September the 10th, Ifa Tunde Avenue. I want to see everybody on Saturday, September the 10th, Ifa Tunde Avenue. I want to see everybody on Saturday, September the 10th, Ifa Tunde Avenue. Send a donation to the school, brothers and sisters. I want everybody who claims to be a supporter of DR.UMAR, and I want everybody who claims to be a supporter of FDMG. I want everybody who claims to be a supporter of DR.UMAR and everybody who claims to be a supporter of FDMG to go to $FDMG school and make $100 donation. Go to $FDMG school and make $100 donation. Go to $FDMG school and make $100 donation. Go to your PayPal, FDMG Academy, make $100 donation. Go to your paypal.me/FDMG Academy. Go to your paypal.me/FDMG Academy and make the donation. November the 19th, I will celebrate 11 years of being Ifa Tunde Oguntade in South Africa with my South African brothers and sisters. Hit the Cash App. Hit the Cash App for the shockumentary, $DrUmarJohnson. Hit the Cash App for the shockumentary, $DrUmarJohnson. Hit your Zelle for the shockumentary, 215-989-9858. Hit your Zelle for the shockumentary, 215-989-9858. This is the Prince of Pan-Africanism. Peace and one love.